We need to convene first of the year, calendar year, first public meeting, which is
I'll make a
both,
motion to open the first regularly scheduled meeting of the Southampton Village Planning Board.
both work session and, it says officially, work session and,
Combined
yeah,
meeting, including the work session and the public meeting of the Southampton Village Planning Board.
is it seconded?
Yes, second.
Seconded. Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, as we do, since the official acts have not been taken, we have to ask someone to serve as chairman of this meeting.
I'll make a motion that Mr. McFarland serve as chairman for this meeting.
I'll second it.
Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Therefore, now that the meeting is in, and there is a de facto chairman by our agreement in the greater cause, the first item is 550 and 554 Hill Street. And they want an extension to January 21st. And I have just read a letter dated December 4th, which I've seen tonight. I got notice of this by email from Kathy Friday, I think, when I was about to come back from a 3-day trip, see my daughter in Florida. That's the first notice we got. Tony will have to speak for himself, even to find out about this 12-year or 13-year mission. If you're not up to speed, it seems to me we can delay, but we can extend it, which they've asked for, as the first order of business. The second order of business is to continue an application that you did not participate in, which was approved 3-2, with a number of issues in it that are still of huge concern to 2 of the remaining 5 members for now of the planning board, but we don't need to get into those tonight. We also cannot discuss them with council, since their firm has a conflict of interest in the matter. So we're not available to confer about them with Alice, our new counsel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
That's
I
my
would just
speech.
like to note for the record that with regard to 550 and 554 Hill Street LP, I will be recusing myself as my firm was involved in this matter prior to my appointment.
Thank you. Yeah, I was assuming that that was the case in my
Yes.
speech. So we have 2 counsel who I happen to know in many incarnations here, I believe, on this matter, maybe some others too, but on the 2. Would either of you like to talk to us before we vote on the matter before us, which seems to have two legs to this stool?
The problem that we're having is
You have to
unique.
go to the microphone,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
Tom.
Charlie's got new mics.
And identify yourself.
Yeah,
This is Anthony
I'm trying to be
Cohill,
shy.
who's
I'm starting the new year being shy. It's a new side of me nobody's ever seen before. The problem that we have is unique in my 50-year history as a lawyer handling this type of matter. We have submitted to a judge in Article 78 on the zoning board side of this equation more than a year ago.
Yep.
And so in July of 2019, the objectance lawyer sent a letter to the judge, something I had never seen happen in 50 years, saying, could you please decide the case? You can only imagine one wouldn't do that unless one were really frustrated. And the response was, when we get around to it. That was in July of this year. Wayne Bruin's new associate about 2 months ago then made a phone call, unaware that one doesn't do that, to the court, asking the same question and got no response at all. I sent a letter. The judge went to my law school. He was the editor-in-chief of the Law Review. I was the editor-in-chief of the Law Review. You would think that that would mean that there would be some courtesy extended. I sent a letter saying, I'm going to retire, meaning this has taken so long, no response. So here we are in January of 2020, and this matter has not been resolved. One of the problems, to be fair with the judge, is that the file is from the top of the table to my hand
Yep.
in paper, just on the ZBA side. So that if one wants to embrace and get his arms around this, or her arms around this, be prepared for a very long weekend of reading, because the file is enormous. It's taken a very long time. A lot of people had a lot to say. So the only reasonable course of action is that there are no new facts, there is no new law, just stuck waiting for a judge to make a decision. We have every reason or confidence to believe that we understand what the decision will be, and then the matter will be back in your hands, and you can proceed
So
in the normal
it's-
course.
The legal issue is on what the ZBA did
Not
after
you.
we acted,
That's correct.
and they then got it back to
That's
act, to
correct.
send it
Yeah,
back to us.
and theirs was a very long decision. If you remember it, it was probably 20 pages
I
long,
read
which
it.
is quite out of character for the
I happen
villages.
to have read it, I will say, at least once,
Yeah, well, and it was
maybe more often.
a good
in
job.
detail.
They worked hard.
There were
yeah.
plenty of arguments tabled
Yeah,
and dealt with
yeah.
by the ZBA,
So,
but not by all of us.
no, we
So we're
understand that.
waiting. Yeah, we're waiting.
We're looking forward to being back in your arms, but we can't get there until the judge makes the decision. That's the problem.
So this is an extension to deal with the outcome. Can we frame a motion before us that we'll approve now to grant you an extension?
Sure. 1 year?
That says this is to deal with the pendency of a proceeding before the surrogates court, I guess it would be, of the state of New York.
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court, Supreme Court.
We're not dead yet.
Yeah,
Wrong difference.
no, but don't reach that dimension now,
Supreme
because
Court
that's not
New
the
York.
only thing that hasn't
In
happened.
connection with action taken on this matter by the zoning board of appeals of the village, the motion would be to say, in light of that, of which we are now informed by this letter, thank you, Bill, for the letter, I now realize if that's the case, and I think Roy said there may be a typo in the letter.
Yes, there is.
Use the
This
word
missing not.
The word not.
It's always the missing word, not.
In light of this letter being corrected for that, we will table a motion that we can vote on as to whether this will be extended for up to a year.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah.
It's the only safe course, given what's happening.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to grant the applicant's request for a one-year extension to the 550 and 554 Hill Street application due to the extended period of time required for a ruling on the Article 78 versus the ZBA decision on this application.
Motion is tabled. Anyone wish to second it and/or comment?
Second,
Any comments?
my only comment is, did you say the judge was retiring? No.
I sent the letter to the
Right.
judge.
Mr. Tohill's retiring.
I'm
Oh,
trying-
you're
I'm
retiring.
trying
You're
to retire.
retiring.
I've been
Oh, you're trying, okay,
extremely
understand.
unsuccessful.
Understand.
Unsuccessful.
I was
Biggest
afraid the
failure.
judge was going to retire, and then it'd be like,
Well-
back to go again.
Get that it's taken so long, and
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that happens. So Alan introduced the death with the surrogates court. We
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm having trouble with him,
Freudian
too.
slip there, okay.
The local judges.
So the judge is, he's very much alive and well.
Okay, okay.
And did you say there was a lot of opposition?
No. There was the neighbors
Just-
on one side.
One neighbor, right?
Well,
No,
I don't remember
Or
at this
all
point.
adjacent neighbors?
every
Yeah, it was-
neighbor except the applicant is registered by lawyers or personal appearance or phone calls their opposition to what's been proposed so far.
Okay.
And,
It's
you know,
not,
those are-
actually, there was one neighbor directly across the street that was in support of the application, just for the
Oh,
record.
yes.
But it doesn't
No,
matter.
I mean, I'm thinking of the
You don't want- you
you're right,
don't wanna know.
physically connected neighbors.
Okay,
Some
understood.
some people are wildly in favor of it, I'm sure. Okay,
All
any,
right, so I second it.
any second, any comments from? Okay.
So we should do a roll call.
Yeah, roll call
Do
vote.
you want me to do it for you, or you can do it?
Ms. Claire,
Aye.
Mr. Piazza,
Aye.
Chairman Carlin,
Aye,
Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
Ms. Gilmartin.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we have, the next item on the agenda is to deal with the Bulligan, is the name of the house there on Captain's Neck Lane. The back of it is a lot that is being subdivided, and they want a 6-month extension. This is to get plumbing approval. Is there any particular reason that we should be advised of? I didn't hear what the delay was. Kathy, do you know what? It seemed to be quite done a long time ago.
It's a
It had
health
to do with the
department
location
delay.
of a
It's
The
the
health
usual
department
story,
is
it's the health
understaffed.
department.
Yes.
We're waiting for the health, it's the usual story, we need
health.
health
It's health.
department.
Okay, that's all you know. Health, we know.
And it's a lot line modification. Health
Molasses in
department.
January, we know about that. Never happens.
There we
Okay.
go, that's
Health
all I have to say
department.
on that.
Okay, then we can entertain a motion that we grant an extension to Fernandez and on Barnhart Street LLC. Wonderful. I'll make, that's my motion. Who would like to
I'll second it.
Anybody
Aye.
want to discuss it? No problems, right?
Only the absurdity of it,
Yeah.
but,
Okay.
go ahead.
Health
Aye.
Department, aye.
Ms. Claire?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair Stevens? Chair McFarland?
Yeah, aye.
Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you. Happy New Year, team.
Don't retire yet, Tony.
Yeah, he's been retired since I've known
I
him.
won't let him.
The next one is one as to which I am recused, but all they want to do is to adjourn, so I can just sit back. Roy, would you?
Sure. In this application for BRL Hampton Road at 630 Hampton Road, the applicant requests adjournment from this meeting to our February regular scheduled meeting. In view of the fact that it's just a one-month request, I would suggest that we grant the applicant their request. Would anybody like to make such a motion?
I make a motion for it to be adjourned.
At the request of the applicant.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Ms. Claire?
Aye.
Mr. Piazza?
Aye.
Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Martin?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. McFarland, I see
Okay.
you.
Now we've got the lodge, which has been approved pending a written decision. Do we have one here? Alice, did you get it?
It should be in your package. I have it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it originally. There we go. Okay, here's a whereas. Okay, we discussed this in some length. This is, the internal elevator and so forth.
Right.
Before we table, does anybody have any views or concerns on the board that would like to make them public or complain? All right. Therefore, we will table a motion that this board approve the site plan approval for 2146 for Old Town Lodge 908, 40 Main Street.
We're reaffirming this written resolution
Yeah.
because it was
We approved-
approved orally
We
at
approved
the
it
December
verbally.
2nd.
We have to approve signing it and help
Yes.
voting. Okay, so moved. We were approving the signature and voting.
I'll second.
Second, okay?
And
Ms. Claire?
aye.
Mr. Piazza?
Aye.
Chair McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Ms. Gilmartin?
Aye.
Okay. Whoever's got the magic marker, please mark the resolution, and I will sign, if there's something to sign,
Yeah, there's-
otherwise I'll go see,
When we finish,
I'll sign it tomorrow.
you can sign it when we finish.
The marker.
No, I know, it's, you gotta go sign the form, sometimes they call me to come
Okay.
There's a marker on the map.
at the time, has to sign the form.
Okay.
And so the Jackie has them organized, so it goes in the file.
Okay,
Validated.
it'll be all right.
Okay. The next one is another adjournment, which is the Sanford Place one that we spent some time discussing recently, having to do with the lot going in with the,
I actually can add something to this. They've requested an adjournment. They didn't provide any details in their letter, but I got an email today from Lisvale saying that they are retaining an engineer to look at the how to provide for emergency access.
And this was, as I remember, the T that was discussed last time. Can the fire trucks still do a T as
Also,
opposed to?
several other questions relating to the neighbors' knowledge of
Whether they
the,
need to be involved in it, the way that the fire marshal had drawn it on his sketch, that would have required involvement by the neighbors because it would be on their property. So
Right.
they're looking into how they can do it on the
Their
subject
property.
property. So there are a number of things that I guess that the board asked them to look at, but the first thing being the access.
Fire truck access.
So just to add to supplement to their request for an adjournment.
Okay. Therefore, we will table a motion at the request of the applicant. We grant an adjournment to Stanford Place LLC for, I assume next month it would be,
February's meeting.
February meeting, which is Super Bowl Monday. Okay, anyone like to second that?
Second.
Okay,
Ms. Claire?
Aye.
Mr. Piazza?
Aye.
Mr. McCart?
aye, that's right.
Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Ms. Gilligan?
Okay. Now we have some minutes. Going back to September. I thought we approved some of these.
I think we have.
I thought we approved a number of them. One was in conflict.
It was the one
It
question.
would be an unapproved minute because we don't have a quorum for the entire minute as a whole.
Right.
Yes,
And there's
so
nobody
I
else.
I did do some
I think that was the
research.
7th of October.
That was actually September 30th.
It was the 30th, okay.
Section 106 of the open meetings law does not require that minutes be approved by a board. So while it is certainly good practice and we should continue to do so, it's okay that we don't have a quorum to vote on approving these minutes. They just have to be made available to the public. So I would recommend that they be marked as non-final so that the public is on notice that they are subject to change.
Okay. And I will talk to Jackie. I'll see if they if they don't have the stamp, they'll get it made.
I will as well.
Will you talk to her too?
Yes.
I'll bet they need a stamp up there. This may be the first non-final ones they've ever had.
Well, they should probably have that anyway, because the minutes are required to be made available to the public within 2 weeks of the meeting, and sometimes we don't get to approving them in that
Yeah,
timeframe.
no, it takes, but they should need a.
The non-final.
They get a stamp and help them.
And the issue is that there were only 2 board members there for the
There was
meeting,
one,
basically.
there was one matter there as to which the 3 board members attending, one of them was recused.
Right.
So he could not vote on that sub-portion.
So 2 of the current members were there.
Right.
So we don't have 3 to approve them now.
Okay.
Couldn't get a majority for one of the clauses.
And they weren't public, so you weren't able to go back and review them as you graciously agreed to
Oh,
do.
yeah, no, we had you hooked for that. Wasn't there?
We all agreed, and
did
then
read
none of
that.
us realized there would be no tape.
Wasn't there? Oh, no, it was a series of great technicalities. All right, October 7.
So it's Pam, Jane, and Roy were at that meeting. You weren't appointed.
Because I was away, I was in Scotland
Right.
there. So you guys want to
So I'll
approve it?
make a motion to approve the minutes of October 7th.
I'll second it.
Aye.
Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
And Ms. Gilmartin?
Aye.
Okay, so the 7th is done. The 28th I was back for.
Everyone was here, the rest of the meetings.
And I think I saw them, and they've been edited and approved, so they should, I'll make a motion that the minutes of October 28th be approved as supplemented, or corrected.
Second?
Ms. Claire?
Aye.
Mr. Piazza?
Aye.
Chairman Farley?
Aye.
Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Ms. Gilmartin?
Aye.
Okay. And then November 4th was a public meeting, and those 2 were corrected. And I think everyone was
I think I
there.
was here.
Everyone was there.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, I think you surprised us, you were there.
Right.
Okay. I'll make a motion that they be approved as submitted and corrected.
Second?
Aye.
Mr. Piazza?
Aye.
Chairman Farley,
Aye.
Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
and Ms. Delarn.
Aye.
Okay. And then November 25th, that was, the long one on Stanford Place was on this second one, November 25th, I think. Again, we were all here.
You're all here, that's the one that David First was here.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll move that they be approved as submitted.
Second?
Seconded.
Aye.
Mr. Knapper,
Aye.
Chairman Farley,
Aye.
Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
Ms. Delarn.
Aye.
Okay. And then December 2, which was the meeting before this, mostly the discussion was on the odd issues in the memorandum from most recent council on Sanford Place. That one, those have been corrected, I believe, at some length and are pretty accurate, so I will move that they be approved.
Second?
Ms. Clark,
Aye.
Mr. Piazza,
Aye.
Chairman Farley,
Aye?
Mr. Stevenson,
Aye.
Ms. Delarn.
Aye.
Okay, we're up to date. Future meetings. We want a work session on the 27th, public meeting on the Monday, and then on to the 25th, which I will miss. Okay,
Which one will you miss on?
25, that work session on the 25th. I'm pretty sure I'm out of town.
If there's no further business, I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second it.
Aye, that one we can vote for. Jane?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting says thank you all very much. Alice, thank you for your patience and recusing yourself appropriately.